Good evening. At this time we would like to call to order the meeting of the agenda or the Board of Directors for the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District for March 28th meeting. And first item of business would be to salute the flag. Repeat after you, Mr. Orzelli.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the Metro Cable announcement. The open session meeting is videotaped for Cablecast on Metro Cable 14. Replay on Saturday, March 30, 2013 at 1 p.m. and Monday, April 1, 2013 at 6 p.m. on Channel 14. Webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv, and the open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. First item is our consent agenda from the regular meeting on March 14.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Director Gould and a second by Director Jones. Board Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Director Monk.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Rosali.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Scheidegger absent. Motion passes.
All right.
Public's not here.
Is there a John Jensen in the room?
I think that, Mr. President, I think he's out with counsel outside. Give me 1 second and I'll...
Talk a little bit about March Madness.
Thank you, members of the board. I would just like to defer my comments regarding, I represent Don Meddy and his industrial disability retirement application. And I would like to just defer my comments until directly before you go into closed session, if that's okay. I just discussed it with your counsel.
If you want to handle items 2 and 3, we were thinking about going into closed session first, but if you don't mind sitting for a while, have a seat and we'll deal with the other items. Thank you.
President Kelly, I think the preference is that whenever the board decides to go into closed session, rather than exercise his right to speak on a matter that is coming up on the public session agenda regarding former Chief Smetty.
He wants to have his effect right before we walk into the room.
Right before you go in. So whenever the board decides it's going into closed session, he'd like to exercise his right to make whatever statements he wants to make on behalf of Chief Smetty at that point in time, and not after the board comes out of closed session.
If you're there and you'd like to speak now, we'll go into closed session immediately.
Okay, well, what I would just like to do is direct your attention. I have written a letter for your consideration in closed session. We have produced medical reports to the standard of the Public Employees Retirement Law, and the medical reports by a doctor which the board has previously used determined that Mr. Meddy is entitled to industrial disability to the standard of the Public Employees Retirement Law prior to his service retirement. And what we're asking is we've tried to get the district to consider additional information, and what we would like you to do is review the information that we've provided to you. It's detailed information from Dr. Scott Anderson, which the board has previously accepted. And it is a clear determination that he's entitled to the IDR. And what we would like to do is, if you have any questions or if you want additional information, we would like to be able to provide additional information to answer any of your questions before you vote to deny. So if you vote, the medical reports would be there, and they are the only medical evidence in front of the board, and they are unequivocally and unambiguously in favor of granting an IDR. And now I looked at the resolution that was presented, and it said deny, and I don't think that there's any medical evidence or any argument or any evidence that would support a denial of his IDR. However, the board, I think, has the right, and I'm not speaking for your counsel, to defer judgment on this and allow us to develop an argument for your consideration should you consider denying. However, the evidence is clear in the medical reports in front of you that he's entitled to it. So it's kind of impromptu. I just heard about this Monday, and I would like to be able to answer any of your substantive questions too, but I understand you're going to consider the matter in closed session.
Any questions by board members?
No.
No? All right then.
Thank you very much.
Closed session.
Okay, we will resume open session once again, and Mr. Lawver, if you would like to report out.
Yes, thank you, President Kelly. The board met in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 to consider the industrial disability retirement request of Don Meddy. The board took no action.
All right, at this time, let's handle item 3.
Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation that we adopt staff's recommendation. I second.
There's a motion by Director Gould and a second by Director Pearson. Board Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Director Monk.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Orzali.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Scheidegger absent. Motion passes.
All right, item number 1, Chief Henke, district pay scales.
Yes, President Kelly, Board of Directors, I'm actually going to read this into the record. This is cleanup language. When we voted on the executive management pay scales and we went to a flat salary with no incentives, PERS contested that though we referred to the pay scale, we had the pay scale listed on our website, we had the pay scale available for public review, we failed to have it attached to the document. And they actually went back and watched our board meeting on this, so if you'll indulge me, I want to, for their clarification, read this into the record. California Code of Regulations, Section 570.5, and amendments to Section 571, Subdivision B, adopted by the CalPERS Board of Administration on April 13, 2011, requires that the district's pay scale must be approved by the Board of Directors and is accessible and available for public review. Discussion. The board took action on March 8, 2012, adopting resolutions 2012-52 and 2012-53. Section 4, Part B, parens compensation in parens of the resolution states, quote, senior management employees' monthly salary shall be a flat monthly salary exclusive of all incentives reflected on the district pay scale document, end quote. The, quote, district pay scale, end quote, document referred to in Section 4, Part B was not provided in the board packet, but the new flat monthly salaries exclusive of all incentives were provided and approved by the board in closed session for all senior management employees. To be in compliance with CCR 570.5 and 571 parens B and parens, CalPERS is requesting the Board of Directors approve the district pay scale that is referred to in Section 4, Part B of the approved resolutions 2012-52 and 2012-53 in open session. Attached for approval are the district's pay scales effective March 8, 2012, August 1, 2012, and September 18, 2012, with the changes tracked for review. The pay scale effective March 8, 2012 reflects the changes to the safety and non-safety senior management as adopted in resolutions 2012-52 and 2012-53 at the March 8, 2012 board meeting. The pay scale effective August 1st, 2012, reflects the change to the payroll specialist position, in which the pay rate was lowered to be consistent with the other specialist positions. The position was vacant at the time. The pay scale effective September 18th, 2012, reflects the addition of the pay rates for the single-role paramedic positions. The recommendation is that the Board of Directors review the attached pay scales and approve the pay scales so that they can be resubmitted to CalPERS. And, that the pay scales are as follows right here, and they're in your packet.
Right. Mr. Chair? Oh, I'm sorry. Chief, are you finished with the recording?
That concludes my remarks.
Madam Chair, is there a question?
No, sir. I would like to move that this board approve the district pay scales.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Director Jones and a second by Director Clark. Are there any questions by board members? Board Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Directors Monk.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Barzali.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Scheidegger absent. Motion passes.
All right then, thank you, Chief. Chief Holbrook, extension of the sole source contract award for professional consulting services with APCO Worldwide.
President Kelly, members of the board, Christopher Holbrook, Deputy Chief of Operations. Staff report before you tonight is to extend a sole source contract that this board has approved in the past. We're bringing it before you, as you indicated in your February meeting, we were going to continue working with APCO to get some engineering done. That particular piece of work has drawn out a little bit, and so we felt it much better, rather than extending a month to month, to come back before you and extend it through the end of the budget year to make it cleaner. With that, we do believe that APCO, given the amount of work that they have done for the district on a number of projects, it's actually much better for the district to maintain services under this particular contract. The fiscal impact for it, and just so that I can get it on the record, we are looking at a retainer fee of $15,000 per month, and with a not to exceed of $75,000 in the term of the entire contract. It is our belief that we won't even come close to that, but rather than come back, we figured we'd be safe. Staff recommends that we authorize this 3-month extension of this sole source contract.
So move.
There's a motion by Director Gould and a second by Director Orzali. Are there any questions by board members? Yes, Director Pearson.
You stated that the retainer was $15,000 a month. Is it a possibility that for that month that they could exceed that for some reason? I mean, a retainer is usually just to keep them there, but then they bill on top of that?
Right. What we expect is that this work currently seems to be surging a little bit, and so we expect that some months we'll go over the $15,000, as long as we don't break the 75 cap in that 90 days. It'll be golden. It'll be clean. I tell you now, and I do not expect to break the 75 cap. Not even close.
All right.
Yeah, and the motion is that they can't. The reality is we've just approved, or we're about to approve, a $75,000 cap
That's it.
Right.
in a 90-day billing period. So at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if it's all billed in 160-day or not. They can't go above 75 before they come back to the full board.
Right.
All right then. Are there any further questions by board members? Excellent. Yes, Director Orzali was your second.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You have a question? No?
No.
Okay.
No, I was.
Please call the roll.
Thank you. Directors Monk.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Barzali.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Scheidegger absent. Motion passes.
Great. We have no presentation items this evening. Under the President's report, I would only report that I attended a very, excuse me.
Have another one, the water resources, and
Yes, we have.
item 4.
Larry's getting us more money.
I didn't get it.
I didn't get the, all
We'll
right.
be right with you. Hold on.
Excellent.
Directors Larry Davis, Chief Development Officer.
The item in front of you is a request for grant funding. In 2006, the California Department of Water Resources launched Flood Safe California, which is a multifaceted initiative for public safety through integrated flood management. Subsequently, they implemented the Flood Emergency Response Grant Program. The grant funding is for local emergency responders to work with DWR to improve local flood emergency preparedness and response. Staff is requesting permission to pursue this grant funding. And this is one of those, the reason I'm here at this point is this is one of the grant programs that requires a resolution from the board prior to submitting an application. And so the application is due April 4th, and we've been working on it. And we need permission to, and a resolution to submit the application.
So moved.
Second.
We've got a motion by Director Gould, a second by Director Pearson. Any questions by board members?
Larry, you seem shocked when I did that. You know, based on the track record of your department and this organization, when you come before us saying you'd like to go after more grants, hello? Really? I mean, how many millions of dollars have we seen your team bring in? And this is just one more. I understand the silliness of having to ask permission to go after money. But absolutely, it was quick. It's a no-brainer for me, for this director at least.
Well, on behalf of the team, we appreciate your confidence and your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Board Clerk, please call the roll.
Directors Monk.
Aye.
Wood.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Barzali.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Scheidegger absent. Motion passes.
All right, on to presentation items. There are no presentation items. President's report. I was just going to report that I attended a very nice birthday party on Saturday evening last week and saw some of the senior management staff. Director Pearson was there. It was a very nice affair. And we surprised the chief. All right, then. Fire Chief's report.
All right, President Kelly, Board of Directors, 2013 Metro Chiefs Conference in Phoenix, Arizona. I'll be attending that. That's the largest fire departments in the country. The acting fire chief from April 3rd through the 11th will be Chief Holbrook. I will be back on the 12th for one day for the retirement dinner, at which point we'll be departing for D.C. April 13th through the 17th. The acting fire chief will be Mark Wells. Those attending D.C. cap to cap will be Rusty Dupre, Larry Davis, myself, Directors Jones, Orzali, and Pearson. I have a California Metro Chiefs conference call on April 1st. On the 2nd of April, we're hosting a perspectives workshop on 201 and 224 transport issues for a variety of elected officials and representatives of counties, cities, and districts here at Metro, and it seems that timing couldn't be better. Meetings and events attended. On the 19th, speaker at Sacramento spoke at the Association of Realtors Government Relations Committee meeting. Rusty Dupre was there with me, as well as Director Kelly. Was very, very well received in regards to what the district's doing, and the Board of Realtors just did a stand-up job. Their government relations people there. Very, very supportive group, and enjoyed it. Attended the Rancho Cordova 2x2 meeting. Of course, Rancho Cordova's excited. We're going to be out of here in about 4 or 5 months, hopefully, out of their board chambers, and we're infinitely grateful that they allow us to remain here, and we had a great meeting with them. I also attended the Approval Authority meeting for the Gang of Five in regards to grants. I think the grant's going to be about $1.1 million total for the entire county and region this year for law enforcement and fire, so it's a dwindling pool that's there, but they still have us as the sheriff, the police chief of Sacramento, myself, the fire chief of the city of Sacramento, and public health sit on that. We're the ones that review the grants and so on and so forth. If you'll remember, we did receive a grant for our helicopter for avionics this year from them, and we've received grants in the past. March 25th through the 29th, this week, is the Fire Mechanics Academy banquet. The banquet is, or their training for the fire mechanics, the banquet is actually this evening. I was unable to attend. Deputy Chief Cochran is there in my stead and will be speaking at that event at McClellan. And that's where we train fire mechanics from across the western United States, including Hawaii. Again, I spoke, Chief Holbrook filled in for me since I was under the weather to speak at the Arden Arcade Rotary Luncheon, which went very well. Yesterday, I met with Senator Jim Nielsen, who's one of the longest-sitting senators and elected officials in the legislature, and how long he's been there. As I asked him if he was related to the guy when I grew up in Napa that was on the signs when I rode the bus in junior high, and he said to me, well, that was me. So that's how long he's been in there, and he is going to be dropping down in the next 2 years in what they call an accelerated representation. Through redistricting, he actually is going to drop down and take a portion of Rancho Cordova and Carmichael and some of that area. And amazingly enough, he covers all the way up to Red Bluff area, but we're about 300,000 population out of his 900,000 or 1 million people that he represents. So it's a big slug. So we met with him yesterday. He is what they'd refer to as a senior lion in the Senate. He's a senior guy. We had a great visit with him and expressed our issues that we're concerned about moving forward. Tomorrow I have a negotiations with the United States Coast Guard in regards to the McClellan contract, and I will keep the Board of Directors apprised on where we're at on that. And then tomorrow afternoon, we have a great opportunity to present our grand plan for the Zinfandel training site to the first level of the Pacific Gas and Electric Company in regards to a potential partnership with them in building it. And if you have not had a chance, the sign went up out at the training facility on Zinfandel. The fence is within probably a week of being completed and the gate put on. It really is starting to lend some structure out there and some genesis. So it's pretty, I drove by there tonight, was shocked to see the sign up, and it's looking good. And we're supposed to come out of the ground in July or August on the USAR props. Those are in design and engineering now, and we'll be using Roblin as a construction manager at risk to construct those. We have a single role paramedic program, 13-2, starts April 1st. And on the 23rd and the 24th, we'll have a command staff strategic planning workshop. Save the date, the 12th of April is the Firefighters Association retirement dinner at the Croatian Center. I was somewhat taken aback that the district in the past apparently had not been a partner in the retirement dinner for our people. It was put on strictly by the Firefighters Association for the retirees, so whether you were union or not. So this year, out of the fire chief's account, we split the cost of that to put that on for them. I really encourage the directors to be there. It's a great event, and it thanks, and I know a lot of you have been there in the past, it really thanks those people for all the years of service that they put in. You can see Brenda Briggs for details and tickets on that. Again, that's the 12th. And then on the 29th of April, Metro Fire Academy 13-1 starts. A new hire, Susan Ellis, office technician, was hired on the 25th of March. No reinstatements, no reassignments. Retirements, effective 3/24, Battalion Chief Bill Turner retired with 22 years of service, and we'd like to congratulate him. And effective 3/23, Battalion Chief Mike Lozano was promoted to Battalion Chief. If you remember, Mike was our Air Ops guy, Captain Orton Air Ops for a long time. Recruitment, the Single Role Paramedic Academy 13-2 begins, like I said, April 1st. We're going to have up to 23 recruits, a combination of paramedics and EMTs. And the Metro Fire Academy 13-1 begins April 29th, potentially up to 50 recruits. Original 25 that we were going to hire, plus we ended up with a SAFER grant for an additional 24 recruits. So with that, I would like to say thank you very much, and that concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Chief Holbrook.
President Kelly, members of the board, operations report tonight will be brief. Since the last time we met, which was 14 days ago, there were 2,587 EMS dispatches, and Metro Fire transported just over about 70% of the time, which is about our norm. In those 14 days, coincidentally, there were 14 structure fires. That is actually a little below normal, and that's a good thing. At Director Pearson's request, in those 14 structure fires, Metro Fire was able to avoid damages to $1,190,000 in that time period. So, admirable effort by everybody on the line. So, with that, I'll conclude my report. If you have any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right. Thank you for your report, Chief. All right. General Counsel's report?
No report.
Anybody from Local 522? No reports from 522. Moving on to the Executive Committee. Mr. Labra, would you report out on our Executive Committee meeting?
Yes, President Kelly. The Executive Committee met this evening at 5 o'clock. The committee went into closed session to discuss the clerk's evaluation process. No action was taken. We anticipate bringing the issue to the full board in closed session at the next board meeting.
Thank you. Communications Center, JPA. I don't see Chief Cochran. All right. Director Monk?
I have no report.
All right. The California Fire Rescue Training, JPA, was scheduled to meet April 24th, and I saw a notice earlier today that said that meeting, they could not put together a quorum, so it was going to be pushed off to the June date, and I will have an opportunity to report out prior to that meeting. Finance Committee report, Director Scheidegger is unavailable, and there was no meeting this evening. That is scheduled for next week, or next meeting, I should say. Policy Committee, Director Pearson.
Nothing is scheduled as of now.
No policy committee.
We'll keep you informed when we need one.
All right. Moving on to board member comments and questions. Director Monk.
I want to make a comment. We've gotten a lot of emails in the last week dealing with grants. I want to continue to congratulate the entire staff and Larry and his group for the grants that we are receiving in a lot of different areas. It certainly helps with our budgeting and helps us funding a lot of different areas throughout the district, so we appreciate the continued hard work. And I did want to pass on my thoughts and prayers to Chief Castros and his continued road to recovery. And congratulations to everybody else. Keep up the good work.
Director Wood.
Just want to say, let Chief Hankey know, I am very grateful for the time and effort that Chief Holbrook, Taylor, and Battalion Chief Seiler gave to me on Tuesday when Seiler spent the day getting me out looking at operations. Saw some drills, met a lot of the men and women that are on the department, and it was incredibly educational and invaluable, and I appreciate all the time they gave me. Thank you.
All right. Director Pearson.
No comments.
No comments?
I'm good.
Director Jones.
Thank you. A few quick ones. One, I'd like to thank Deputy Chief Holbrook for assisting in preparation for some community meetings in my area so that we can get Metro representatives out to a lot of local communities and answer any questions and receive input. So thank you very much for that assistance, Chief. I also attended a training session put on by Sacramento County for the community advisory councils that give advisory comments to the Board of Supervisors on land use decisions. It was very worthwhile training. And to reiterate what the chief said, our 2x2s with Rancho Cordova continued to be very excellent with a really high caliber, professional level exchange of information and mutual support. So thank you to the City of Rancho Cordova.
Director Clark.
I would just like to wish everyone a happy Easter.
All right. Director Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to make mention of the fact that in just a couple of weeks, we're going to start having open houses for the fire department, and it's really a great time for the men and women to show off their talents and to show you what they do on a day-to-day basis. And I'd just like to challenge everybody out there in the viewing audience to drop by one of these open houses and get to know the men and women that are doing the jobs. It's one thing to read about them, both positive and negative. It's another to actually break bread with them and be in the firehouse and get to know these folks that are in your area, that put their lives on the line every single day. So I'd just like you to go out there and go to these open houses. I believe you can go to the website, Metro's website, and see these dates and the details there. But I think it's really a good time to put a face to the department and get to know that it really is, in fact, your firehouse. We just house it and we just staff it and those kind of things on a daily basis. But it's your house, and it really, I think, is a great time to get to meet the fantastic men and women that are there 24/7. Thank you, sir.
You're certainly welcome. Director Orzali.
Thank you. I'd just like to compliment the staff on the documents that were presented to us tonight, and particularly the line that reads with regarding the district pay scale. Senior management employees' monthly salaries shall be a flat monthly salary exclusive of all incentives reflected on the district's pay scale document. The reason I mention this is because we have come into a model of transparency and clarity so that if anyone has questions, you can simply go there and say, what does this person make? And there it is. There isn't any question as to what the rest of the document, or are there hidden salaries, hidden benefits from the old days that was a common practice, not necessarily in Sac Metro, but in lots and lots of places. I just really appreciate the time it took and the clarity in that document. On another front, I would tell you that things are moving forward on the Public Safety Foundation. I continue to be enormously impressed by the support that we're gaining, and we look forward to our meetings with not only the folks from the Lucas device, but the medical community in Sacramento has expressed significant interest in looking at what we're trying to do and bringing the Lucas device to Sacramento. So with that, thank you.
All right. My only comments this evening would be to tell everybody to have a nice Easter, and that I hope that Mr. Castros, Battalion Chief Castros, is able to rejoin the staff again at some point in time and make the great contributions to Sac Metro Fire that he was known to have made. Thank you, and we're adjourned.
Thanks, sir.